Are we live? What's up, everybody? Is it working? Can everybody hear me? Somebody tell me if you can hear audio. Any audio? We hear you. Yes. Yes, thank God. What's going on, everyone? We are back over on YouTube, right? Get centered over here. Puerto Rico. Wow, everybody's here, huh? I'm gonna make the chat window bigger. I do like this YouTube chat. I know some people prefer the app. But this is pretty nice that you can have I can have the chat on one side of the screen and the videos on the other. Not that I need to see myself, but yeah. So yeah, I have some preloaded questions from you guys. It's only about 10 questions though. So I want you guys to think of some questions here in the chat, and I'll try to scroll back and answer those too. Somebody already asked a couple times in the preloaded questions of what's your favorite song to play. So let's skip that one. But yeah, try to think of some random questions about what's going on here, about the tour, what's coming up. We got a Europe tour, all that stuff. So as everyone knows, or maybe you're new here, whenever I start one of these chats, I like to do like a roll call and see where everybody's coming from. So I like to do that. So everybody, let me know where you're at, because that's half the fun for me is which countries we're going to. So I want to talk about that. South Carolina, Kentucky, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Canada, Wisconsin Cheesehead. It looks like we got 85 people in here right now. It's growing. Kentucky, Boise, Scotland, Florida. Caribbean, for real? Oh, Little Caribbean, Brooklyn, New York. Upstate New York. Wow, we are from everywhere on this chat. Baltimore, Florida, Metro West Mass, Mexico, Illinois. Yeah, I love having the chat on the side here. And I did notice before I started the live chat, I saw that you guys were able to chat with each other before the live stream even started. So that's pretty cool. Hiram says he'll be meeting us in Puerto Rico. Yeah, that's cool. I don't know if everybody knew. I haven't seen it announced over here, but I know we've announced a Puerto Rico show. And it's I think the venue down in Puerto Rico announced it. I'm not sure if it's on our website yet, but after we do the Creed cruise, we're playing Puerto Rico like a few days later. So that's amazing. It'll be my second time playing there, not with Daughtry though. Played there with Lita Ford a few years back. Come to Brazil. It wouldn't be a live chat without a come to Brazil. I wish we were coming to Brazil very soon. I wish. Michelle says Deep End is her favorite song. I love that one. Virginia. Yes. Deb says we have a ton of people in here. Yes, it's growing right now. We got 98 people. No Belgium? Ms. asks no Belgium. I guess maybe there's nobody else in here from Belgium, but we are playing Belgium. We have tour dates coming up. Any chance, Karen asks, any chance of a U.S. headline show in the future? The answer is yes. Can't say anything, but the answer is yes. I'm going to go to the preloaded questions. Let me do the preloaded questions first. So you guys think of your questions you want to put here in the chat, and I'm going to get to some of them in here. And of course, the first question, we know it had to be Robert Waylock. And Robert always has good questions about like the logistics of the touring and all that stuff, which I'm into. I nerd out about the how many trucks and how many lasers are there and how much pyro, and I like that stuff. So I like his questions. Robert asks, Marty, how do your instruments get shipped to Europe overseas or get shipped overseas, and do you worry about them being lost? The Robert says yes. Robert, yes, we do worry about our things getting lost. And this is one of those touring logistics questions that I love, actually. So you may have seen in photos, we keep all of our guitars and basses in these what we call vaults. It's like a big road case. Just take the front off, and they're all just loaded up in there. Sometimes, if you're going overseas, you'll load them up into smaller cases if it makes sense. But on this one, I guess it just made sense just to ship the vaults as is. So drums and road cases and all the guitars and basses, they all go over there on an airplane in these big vaults. And yes, we do worry about them making it over there. I have in the past had things get like stuck in customs because just like it's difficult to get a visa to get a person into a country, it's also hard getting things into a country too. So sometimes you'll ship a bunch of things over there and you get there like, oh, they're not here. So we actually had some things once, not confiscated, but like kind of held captive at customs. And you're like, oh, whoops, what are we going to do? But luckily, the band, when you're touring at a certain level, sometimes there's like an A rig and a B rig. So it was our A rig that disappeared for a little while. So we just resumed touring on the B rig and made it happen. So yeah. So yes, you do worry about if your stuff doesn't make it. Yeah, I always worry about that. Like, that story with you ever heard that story about Peter Frampton? His famous Gibson guitar that he was playing on the cover of his Frampton Comes Alive album, that thing went missing forever. It was presumed gone forever because it went down in a cargo plane crash, and it turns out the case washed up on shore, and he was reunited with it like 40 years later. And it's a incredible story. Gibson had to like inspect the guitar because they thought it was a hoax. Like, there's no way that thing survived a plane crash. And so yeah, yes, we do worry about our gear getting over there. Someone asked, this is a good question, I like this one too, is because we have, in case anybody didn't know that's here, because we have 93 people in here. Hiram, I see your question about the mirrored bass. I'll get back to these questions in the chat. Hold on to your questions for a second, because the stuff flies by pretty fast. And I'm working on the preloaded questions you guys sent earlier. So Cindy asks, what is the country you were looking forward to the most performing at? Because we're going to Europe and we're doing I think 30 different countries or something like that, 25 or 30. And I'm excited because when I first started touring many years ago, it was very common. You'd go over there and you would just do a full tour and you would hit 25 or 30 countries in a row. But in the last, I'd say 10 or 12 years I've been going over there, it just seems that every time we go over there, it would just be like a few countries and then home, like maybe just 2 weeks tops. And I've always missed the days of going over to Europe for like a good 6 to 8 weeks and hitting every country. And that's what we're doing. We are hitting, we're over there for 2 months. It's going to be amazing. And also later in the chat, I'm going to ask everybody who's coming to which countries and where you're going to be. And if there's any of you stateside that are heading over there. But anyway, I was going to say, there are 4 countries that I've never been to that we are hitting on this tour. I'm very excited. Luxembourg, Croatia, Hungary, and Ireland. I'm sure you guys have heard me chat about my Ireland fiasco of never having been there. It's kind of an ongoing joke with all my friends that I've never been to Ireland, yet I have the most Irish name in the world, Martin Patrick O'Brien. And it's crazy because anytime you look at the tour dates of any rock band touring Europe, Ireland is always in that list. And I counted once 27 European tours I've been on, either for just a couple shows or a full tour, but 27 times over the pond to go play shows, and every single one of those trips had at least a few shows in the UK or at least one. And so the fact that I've never been to Ireland in all those years is crazy. Um, and so I'm finally gonna go there. Like, how does it take 4 million years? So anyway, excited for Dublin. That's gonna be very fun. And for those that aren't sure what the deal is, it's an Alter Bridge tour with Daughtry and Seven Dust opening. Um, and we're super excited for many reasons. One, in case you guys didn't know, Alter Bridge is basically Creed with a different singer, Miles Kennedy on vocals instead of Scott Stapp. So we're excited because the Creed band and crew are like family to us. I mean, half the crew guys used to be Daughtry crew guys, and we're friends with all of them. They're like family to us, and they're so good to us. And we just toured with Creed, so it's like going back on tour with Creed, but a whole different band and whole different set list and songs. And so we love all those guys, crew and everything. Super excited. They're all my friends. The crew guys are all my friends. Can't wait. So that's one reason we're excited about that. And then I forgot the second reason what I was going to get to. Anyway, we're super excited to get over there. It's going to be fun. And when I think of that second reason why it's going to be so fun, I'll get back to you. Yes. Let's see. I'm going to go to the next question here. In Europe, which band member do you think will get lost the most in Europe? I'm going to say Elvio, not because he gets lost, but just because him and I poke fun at each other. So I'll just say he's going to get lost, but not really. Him and I will be walking all over the place, finding coffee, I'm sure. I'm going to go back to a question here in the chat. Hear him in the chat here. Says he's a bass player too, and he loves the Spectre bass with the mirror on it. He asks, will I consider that my favorite bass to use on the tour? Yes. Yeah, the mirror bass kind of turned into a cool thing and became my number one bass. It's a funny story that when I got that bass, it was just a plain black bass, and it's a fairly inexpensive bass. It's not one of the super high-end Spectre basses, but for the tour, I needed a couple extra 5-string basses just to have as some backups for different tunings or whatever. So I bought 2 of these plain black, like matte black Spectres, and just to mix it up, to make one just different from the other, I thought, what can I do to put some kind of artwork? I'm always doing some kind of craft or whatever. So I came up with the mirror bass concept, and I did that to the bass. It's kind of funny. I ran it by Chris first. I'm like, I got to show you this. We had just shot the music video for the song Pieces, and in the music video was all these broken pieces of glass, and the band is kind of performing in the reflections of the mirror and all that. So that's how I got the idea too. And I ran it by Chris first. Like, what do you think of this? I was like, is this too over the top? Because my fear was that up close it looks like a cool shattered mirror, like broken and kind of hard. But then I thought that from a distance it would kind of look like blingy, you know, like rhinestones. I didn't want it to look like a sparkling diamond in the distance or all kind of shiny and fancy. But it came across. The point came across, and it's so yeah, that's my number one bass. And then the other plain black one, the matte black, is what I recently turned into the copper bass. We call it the Duracell. You might have seen pictures of it on my social media. The bass is actually covered in copper leaf, like actual metal. It's not, people think it's paint, but it's actually, the whole bass is covered in metal, really thin metal, you know. So yeah, mirror bass, and it's coming on tour for sure. Karen says the chat looks so big on her big screen. Yes, that's awesome. Bring it up on the TV. Sherry says, please don't lose Elvio. I won't lose Elvio. We will get our maps out and not lose our place. Robert says, love the Duracell. Thanks, Robert. Lisa asks, do you prefer smaller, intimate venues or big arenas, and why? I get asked that a lot, and it's completely hard to say, because you'll get in a huge arena and you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is what we all dreamed of. The big room, the big, the dressing rooms in the back are giant. You're doing the long walk down the hallway. It's everything you ever dreamt of. You play the, of course, the 25,000 people screaming. It's loud and it's just amazing. And you think that's where it's at. And then you go play a smaller place and you're shocked that like the crowd is so close to you and you see every face and you feel like connected completely. And you're like, oh, you're disconnected in the arena. Like, wow, this is insane. You feel like you're all in it together. So I can't decide which is better. They're both to just kind of go back and forth between the two. Melissa Elks asks, how was your birthday? And I'm going to go to the preloaded questions here because somebody asked a similar question. I'm going to go find it. Jenny says, happy belated birthday. December birthdays rock. Do you try to do something special for your birthday? Sorry to hear the news you put in this here about your brother. Very sorry to hear that. But my birthday, yes. I don't usually do something grand. Last year we played a show on my birthday. That's always fun when like the actual show is on your birthday. Last year was kind of a funny thing. I didn't think Chris was going to say anything. We were having kind of a tough technical show where it was kind of stressful. We were like trying to make it work. And then we got on stage and I thought he wasn't going to say anything. And then during the show, out of the blue, he just goes, he's going to hate me for doing this. But we all laughed. It was funny. But this birthday, no, I was just home on my birthday. And then the next day I went on a vacation for a week. So that was fun. I forgot to look at the next question. So Karen says, did you like the tribe gift? Yes, I got a handful of very cool gifts from all of you guys. I know I sent a thank you video explaining all the fun gifts and all that stuff. I hope everybody got it. Everybody that kind of contributed, and really appreciate it. Lisa asks, how do you unwind after a show when the adrenaline is still high? That's how band guys just end up staying up all night. You get off stage at like, depending on what time you play, you might get off stage at 10 or 11 and you are just wired. It's like going to the gym at 11 o'clock at night. And so, yeah, a lot of us are sometimes up really late, All right, let's get back to the other questions. I'm going to scroll back through these questions too, make sure I got everybody. Cindy asks, what has been your favorite tour with Daughtry since joining the band? Again, that's super hard to pick. The first tour was amazing, obviously, because it was the first tour, kind of a whole new. I'd gone like 10 years playing with Lita Ford and then switched it up to this. So the first tour was amazing because it was just a whole new thing. Earlier in the year, the tour we did with Disturbed was amazing because I had played for Disturbed for a brief time during their first tour. I filled in on bass for like a 2-month European tour. So that was like just crazy coincidence to do a tour with those guys. And the tour we did was actually the 25th anniversary of their first album, The Sickness, and their first tour. And so I played on that first tour, The Sickness, and here Daughtry was opening for them on the 25th anniversary of that tour. So that was bonkers. Which reminds me, I just thought of, remember how earlier I said there were 2 reasons why I'm looking forward to that European tour so much. I just remember the second reason. The first reason was because all the Creed guys, we adore them and they're awesome. And, I said Alter Bridge is all the same band and crew. But I just remembered another reason, the second reason, is that Seven Dust is the opening band on this tour, and my first tour ever. I was in a metal band called Kilgore, and we were on the Ozfest in '98. My first tour ever was with Seven Dust, 28 years ago. Um, Ozfest '98, my first tour. We were just kids in a van from Rhode Island, and I'd never heard of Seven Dust. And the guys in the band, as we were driving to go start the tour, they were just talking about all the new up and coming bands that were on the tour. They were talking about Seven Dust, and we were in the van heading to the tour, and they were playing some of these bands, and they put on Seven Dust, and the drummer was like, "I love this song." He goes, let's put that in," and that was so cool. And so 28 years ago, I toured with the Seven Dust guys, and if you told me back then that I would be on another tour with them, 28 years later, I'd be like, "That's crazy. That ain't gonna happen." But here it is, yeah. So anyway, I can't wait to see those guys and reconnect, and very cool. Amanda says Seven Dust was on tour with you guys a few years back. That's true, but I was not in the band at the time. That was literally like 2 months before I joined the band. Yep. So yeah. Tom asks, "Do you know Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater?" Casually, I just know him in passing as a musician bud. Yep, he's very cool, great drummer. Let's see. Will Seven Dust and Chris perform the past? I don't know. I'm going to go back to the preloaded questions here. If there's anybody new that's joined in, since we did the roll call earlier, let me know where you're at, where you're from, because when these start, I always like to check in and see where everybody's from. So if anybody joined in, give me a heads up where you're at. Like, hey, I'm in the Arctic Circle or whatever. Let's see. Jenny asks, we always seem to ask what's your favorite song to play. Yeah, you're right. Everybody always asks that. So she's asking lyrically, what song have you the most connection to? I don't know. I can't think of, with all these chats going by, I can't think of lyrics, and I'd have to sit down and. Ghana, huh? Wow. We got Ohio. Wow, we get a lot of new people. Nashville, Ghana, North Carolina, Florida, Oklahoma. Miz is in bed. Seattle, New York, Jersey, Connecticut. Wow, we are all over the place. All right. Hiram asks, are you guys going to stay a few days in Puerto Rico after the show? No, we're not. We'll probably get in earlier, maybe before the show, but after the show, we will leave. Yeah. But I'm excited about Puerto Rico. Haven't been there in a while. I've only been there once, and it was beautiful. Very excited about that. All right. Lisa asks, what's the hardest part of touring that fans don't usually see? I will say this, that most band guys, not our band, I just mean in general, when I read interviews with people, they're always complaining about it's so tough, it's so rough. And I just roll my eyes. All these band guys in interviews, they're always like, people think touring is nothing but fun and sightseeing, and you don't get to see anything. And my answer to that is, get off your lazy ass. You got the whole damn day up until sound check to go explore the place. So I guess the hardest thing about touring, I guess not from a personal standpoint, but I would think the guys in the band and people in other bands that have kids, I would think that's got to be the hardest. I don't have kids, but I would imagine that's the hard part, being away from your kids and your family and missing important things. So my heart does go out to the people that have to leave on tour or any kind, even even crew guys. Everybody has to be away for a couple months at a time, and so that would be, yeah. There's some some chat going on about baseball during my chat in the window here. Let's see. Robert says, have you ever tried playing there and back again? Yes. That's a story for another time, Robert, but ask me that again in a few months. All right, I'm going to get back to those questions. Let's see. Stephanie asks, she said, I can't think of a question, so she's going to hit me with a would you rather instead. Question is, would you rather lose all of the money that you earned this year on tour or lose all of the memories you gained on tour? I I would rather lose the memories because I can do other tours and get more fun memories. But if the money you earned from like working all year disappeared, that would suck. Because we work hard. It is a lot. We are out the whole year doing stuff. So Marty and Elvio know by now. I always talk smack on the Yankees. Yes, that's true. That's funny. I'm gonna scroll back and see. Let's see what questions I've missed. Sherry asked, with your earpieces in, can you actually hear us in the audience? Good question. That falls into that category I love of logistics of touring and stuff. So, I've heard people ask this before. Somebody will post a photo of like a live concert, and on the speakers to the sides, there'll be these little tiny skinny microphones way out on the edges, kind of pointing outward. And I've seen people take photos of them and be like, what are these microphones for? And that's the reason. So Sherry asks if we can hear the audience with our earpieces in, because they're in-ear monitors. We get molds taken of our ears, and there's speakers, and so the point of them is they block everything out completely, so you're not hearing like loud drums, or if the guitar player is next to you super loud, it blocks it all out, and then you have almost like a clean slate. And so the monitor guy will give you a mix. Like, okay, I want a little bit more bass, a little bit more guitar. Give me Chris's vocal more. So, and the downside of that is it does block out the audience. So the solution for that are those little microphones out by the crowd. And so they are just, some people will say, I want the those microphones in my ears just a little bit, because some people actually like the ambience of the room, so it doesn't sound so much just like like a CD in your head. It sounds like more like a room. But some people like to have it up a little bit so they can hear the audience. But you know what a lot of people do is when you're playing the songs, a lot of times the monitor guy will actually bring those microphones down in your ear completely, so you have a really great mix. And then when the song is ending, they'll bring those mics up in your ears a little bit, so when the crowd is cheering or yelling things, you actually feels like you can hear the room. So that's interesting. It's a preference on the band members, whatever they want. I think this whole past year, I don't think I had much of the microphones in there lately, and I think I asked for them to bring them up a little bit more, in between songs or whatever at times. So yes, I'm gonna scroll through here and find more questions. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll way back and see if I missed anything like way out of here. Somebody asked how my birthday was. Yes, the birthday was great. Birthday was on December 10th. Thanks, everyone. Went on a little vacation the day after my birthday. It's kind of like celebrating a week later. It was amazing. Yes. There was another question in here I missed. I know I saw it. Lisa asks, "What's the weirdest or funniest thing that's happened on tour?" Um, I'm gonna have to think about that one. Oh man, I need to have those answers preloaded in the back of my head because you get those sometimes. I'm gonna think about that. I'm gonna come back to it. I always do. They lurk in the back of my head. Uh, Tom asks if I like Rush. I do. I love Rush. I'm a bass player, so very excited about their reunion coming up. I know it'll be different with the different drummer, and they're actually adding some extra musicians to help them out on the tour. But I'm very excited. First show, I believe, is June 7th in LA. Incredible. Super excited. Um, Masher7774 asks, "Do you ever get homesick while touring?" I do not. Everybody makes that joke because everybody else in the band and any other band I've ever been in, they usually have families at home and kids and wives and all that stuff. So they're on any tour I've ever been on, it's always been their talk about, the struggle of being away from family. And then everybody always looks at me and jokes and says, if it was up to him, we'd be out the whole year, the whole year. So yeah, that's always been my take on touring. I get home and I just want to keep going. I want to go back out. So I just love traveling and pretty much living on tour. So no, I don't actually get homesick. Yeah. I'm Amanda says, "Can I go on tour to avoid my kids?" That's funny. All right, I'm scrolling. I'm finding more questions. The chat goes by pretty fast when there's almost 100 people in here. So, uh, Deb says, "I guess you need to get a family or a dog." Yeah, I've always made a joke that if you go on tour, you can't have you can't have pets or plants because they'll die. But I figured a solution out. If you get succulents like desert plants, you could just water them and then come back 2 months later and they're fine. So yeah, for years living out here in LA, I had zero plants because I was always going on tour, and then I started getting succulents, and you can actually keep some plants in the house that survive over time. Lisa asks, "Have I ever performed high or drunk?" I have never. I've actually only been. I'm not even going to say drunk. I'm going to say semi drunk once in my life, just once. Everybody knows I don't actually drink. When I was a teenager, I got a little tipsy at a party, and like, whoa, that's kind of. And that was the time. And I was like, yeah, okay, I get it. It's not my thing, but I did it. So only once. So I've never performed high or drunk. Let's see. Monica asked, "Will you pop in tomorrow at Morongo, please?" I'm pretty sure I'm not going tomorrow to Morongo. For those who are unaware, Morongo is a casino kind of out near Palm Springs, California. I live in LA, and Daughtry is performing out there, but just as an acoustic trio. So it'll be Brian, Elvio, and Chris. So the band does about maybe 3 to 5 acoustic trio shows a year. They pop up in the calendar, and I'm like, that damn acoustic trio again. The band's off playing without me, doing their thing. I would much rather be doing that. Because we did that acoustic tour a couple years ago, the Bare Bones acoustic tour, and that was amazing. Super fun. I hope we do that again sometime because that was great. Oh, we got more questions. Do I need a good cook on tour? I do, yes. Let's see. Does Chris bring his dog on tour on the road every tour? No, he doesn't, but often. I guess when you bring a pet on tour. You kind of have to look at the schedule like, oh, we're on the bus for a few weeks or a couple weeks, but then all of a sudden there's like a few shows where we got to fly a bunch. So I have a feeling things like that um uh make you decide whether you're going to bring the dog or not. But little Lila was out with us for a good part of the tour. I think it was the Disturbed tour she was out with. I love dogs on the bus because I always choose the bottom bunk, so I'm like just a couple inches off the ground, and I'll be like in my bunk with my headphones on, like watching something or playing on my phone, and all of a sudden you'll get a visitor and like there's a dog at eye level just kind of with its nose on your cheek, and you're like, so it's always fun being on the bottom bunk. The dog, they don't ever pop in the bunk. They just kind of stick their head in and just say hello. Yeah. Tina says I should get air plants. Yes, those are very easy to take care of. Kind of like an air guitar, doesn't need tuning. So yeah, I will not be at the Morongo show tomorrow. I'm pretty sure not. If something, I'm not gonna rule it out, but the guys are playing out there tomorrow. It's like a iHeartRadio festival or something. I don't know. Should be pretty cool. Oh yeah, Deb asked, "Do you have FOMO when they exclude you?" Yes, playing shows without me, man. Flying off to fun places and playing. It's only a few a year, but yeah, it's a bummer, man. Especially because I like those acoustic shows we've done when it's full band. A couple years ago, we did that acoustic tour, and none of us knew what to expect. It was just kind of we didn't talk about extreme ways we were going to change the songs, or we just did it, and it just over the first week or so of the tour, the songs morphed into these acoustic versions we started doing, and Elvio was doing a lot of improving during the songs, and we were like super excited how it turned out and proud of how it worked out, and it was cool. Sammy Church asks, "What's your least Daughtry song?" I'm guessing you meant what's my least favorite Daughtry song. I can't answer that. I don't know. Steph says BB was a great tour. Bare bones, yes. Super, super happy about how that turned out. Let's see. Did I hear that Sleep Theory was nominated for an iHeartRadio's New Artist of the Year? You guys set them on fire after the Xmas tour. Yes, we are. Sleep Theory is a band that we took on tour a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Super great band, young dudes. And it's been awesome to see them exploding. Every time I see like their tour posters they put up on the internet, it's always like sold out. Like 80-90% of their shows are sold out. And I'm like, hell yeah, that's so awesome. Ms. asks, "Do you make those jumps also like John and Dan did?" Yes, back when I played in Disturbed, it was a lot of jumping around and going crazy back then. Everybody always jokes too, like, "Oh, how did our knees survive back then?" Yeah, we were always it was, we were youngsters. We were jumping around. It was funny. Let's see. Vicky asks, where are we? How old were you when you started playing guitar? When I started playing the bass guitar, at first I was 12 or 13. My dad bought me a used bass, went and took some lessons. Just took a handful of lessons at a local music store. Didn't really follow up on it. Didn't really like it that much because I was like learning these songs from the songbook, like just silly little songs. And I kind of lost interest, kind of didn't like the, not the stress, but like, my parents are paying for the lessons. So you feel like you're under pressure to like learn those things and do it. And I kind of just drifted away from it. That was like age 12 or 13. And I kind of just stopped playing. And then at age like 14 or 15, probably 14, I picked it back up again and just self-taught, like no no pressure to take lessons and follow up on these lessons they were giving me. I just started learning my favorite songs, and that's how I got into it. Yeah. Ms. asks, you played in Disturbed? What year? So, quick recap on that. In 2000, I met the Disturbed guys in 2000. I was on tour playing on the Ozfest. I became friends with the Disturbed guys. That was their first album. It had just come out. And on that Ozfest tour, they were just starting to blow up. It was getting so big so fast. It was before John Moyer. Yes, it was during the first album when their first bass player Fuzz was still in the band. And so I just did this Ozfest tour with them. And then the bass player Fuzz broke his ankle. He jumped from like a fire escape at their rehearsal spot, and he shattered his heel bone. The heel bone shattered. So they were just about to leave for Europe for like in just like a week to go do this big tour opening for Marilyn Manson. And the Fuzz, the bass player, calls me and says, he goes, "Hey, Marty," he goes, "we all heard that on the Ozfest you had to learn all those Tommy Lee songs like within a few days." He goes, "You think you could do that for me and fill in for me?" I go, "What? What happened?" I go, "Yeah, I can do that." So I filled in on it was on their first album, 2001, January 2001. And it was a 2-month tour in Europe. We played about 6 weeks of shows with Marilyn Manson, opening for Marilyn Manson. And then the tour, we started in the UK, did all of UK, all of Europe for like 6 weeks. And then we went back to the UK and played headlining shows as Disturbed, which is interesting because we hadn't been there in a month and a half. So it was actually time to go back and we hadn't left Europe yet, but we were going back to play London again and all these. We played the Docklands, London Arena, Docklands at the time. And then we came back and played the Astoria Theater like 6-7 weeks later. So it was a cool tour. So that's how that happened back in the day. Yeah. How Ian asks, how many bands do you know? Several. I don't know. A lot of bands. Let's see. Amanda says, I think they said the bottom was challenging. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're answering a question up there. But yes, that is true. The bottom was a tricky one to us to get that together. Razor was not a hard song to play. Very easy. But the bottom was a lot of different things to remember. Like, oh, it does here, but then the second time it comes around, it does this little thing here. So yeah. Oh, Susan asked, do you know how many bands you've played with? I don't, but it's been a lot. I've played with a lot of bands. Not bragging, I'm just saying it's been a lot. It's been a lot. Bands would just I kind of was the guy that would fill in for people. And yeah. Brian asks, any plans for a 2026 US tour? Yes. I'm just hearing whispers. I can't confirm anything, but I would think. Vicky asks a good question. She says, what's your favorite band to play with? And the answer is Daughtry. It is very true, actually. Definitely my favorite gig. Oh, Stacy asks, I think you asked this earlier and I missed it. Do you have any favorite venues you visited or ones you'd like to visit again? Yes. With Daughtry, we played Royal Albert Hall like 2 years ago, and that was mind-blowing. The Royal Albert Hall was crazy. This past year, we played the Forum here in LA, which was mind-blowing to me because I've seen so many shows there. And this year, I got to check off my absolute number one bucket list venue to play, and that was the Providence Civic Center in Rhode Island, where as a kid, I saw every concert. My parents saw Elvis there when I was before I was, yeah. maybe when I was little. My parents saw Elvis there. I saw the circus there when I was a kid. I saw the Harlem Globetrotters when I was like 10. And then as a little teenager, I saw, Aerosmith, Kiss, every band imaginable I saw. I have a stack of ticket stubs this thick from that venue. And so anyway, it's the Providence Civic Center in Rhode Island. And I never thought it would happen because in like the 90s, they started building other venues around and rock concerts just stopped going there. And so it was mainly like a sports venue. And so anyway, this past summer, Creed announced a bunch of new tour dates and we were the opening band. And there it was, Providence, Rhode Island. Right now it's called the Amica Pavilion, I think it's called. But I was like, that's the Providence Civic Center. They always give these corporate names to venues. So yeah, that was super amazing. And also coming up, we're playing the O2 Arena in London, which is amazing. That's definitely one of those bucket list venues. I have not done it yet. Like I said, I've played other when I first started touring Docklands, which I think went on to be called the London Arena. That was like the big arena at the time, and then they built the O2, so I'm finally playing there. We got an acoustic tour question. Oh, I lost. Oh, let's see. Sunrise says the acoustic tour was amazing. I've seen you in concert twice. The first time I saw you, you fell flat on your ass coming out of the stage. I do remember that. It wasn't on my ass. I fell on my elbows. We had these risers, like how like LVO is up on a riser, like a mini stage. At one point, I was on my own little stage during one tour, and I stepped up on one of those, and my shoe got caught, and I fell, and I used like my elbow to protect the base. I had the base in this hand, and I fell down I was like down on one knee, and hit my elbow on the thing, and it was all good though. I survived. Let's see. I'm scrolling here, getting to the good questions. Let's see. I'm looking. Tom says he's a self-taught drummer. Way to go, Tom. Jenny says, is Daughtry your favorite band to play with because of the awesome fans? No joke. It is part of it. Yes. In all the bands I've played for, this is definitely the band that has like the most dedicated. I mean, look we got this chat going on. You guys got the tribe. Definitely some of the most dedicated fans I've ever, and we're so grateful. Is there a band you would absolutely love to tour with? I would love to tour with a reunited Led Zeppelin. No, I don't. Trying to think. I don't know. I want to tour with anyone who wants to go on tour. Let's all go on tour. Someone asks about the 2026 tour, if there might be a headlining tour. If it was, I'm assuming it's going to be a headline tour. I don't know. I hear whispers and I'm not supposed to say anything. Hiram says, how do you guys select the covers that you guys play? For example, Separate Ways. It really is like this ongoing, constantly with any band. I bet you every band that's out there, there's always the conversation of cover songs. A song will come on and someone will say, we should cover this. Like we should do this. It's constantly a conversation. So it was just one, I think Separate Ways was just one of those things where we were all in the dressing room talking and I heard Chris and LVO talking about it but to this day, those conversations still happen. We are always like trying to think of like that song that you just like grew up with that would be, I don't know. And in my eyes, I never want to hear a cover song where somebody just covers it exactly is. Like take a song that was like a synth 80s pop song and make it a hard rock song, or vice versa. Take a hard rock song and some 80s synth band like style does it like that. Change the genre. Like that's how I think cover songs should be done. I don't want to hear a rock band covering another rock band song and not at least not try to mix it up or change it a bit and do something different, you know? Anyway, that's how cover songs always get chosen. It's like these debates in the dressing room during tours, like, what if we did this? That would be cool. And you try to imagine, you know. Monica asks, oh, Monica says, hoping you play Red Rocks so I can see it too. I heard it's amazing. Yes, that's one of the bucket list venues that I've never played. And anytime I tell friends I've never played there, a lot of my musician friends are like, how can you have never played Red Rocks? Because half my musician friends are like, I've played there 3-4 times. I'm like, great. Well, I haven't. And I think Daughtry's played there like probably 3 or 4 times. And I have not yet. So hoping. Let's put that on the calendar this year. Ian says, I also play guitar, Marty. That's cool, Ian. Keep it up, man. All right, let's see. Sunrise asks, do you know if Steve Perry has ever reached out to any of you after he heard your version of Separate Ways? No. I've never heard a response from Steve Perry, but somebody on Twitter tagged or like mentioned Neil Sean, the guitar player, who's one of the co-writers, and said something like, hey, Neil, Daughtry's cover of Separate Ways with Lizzie Hale, like, what do you think, or whatever? And I think his reply was, it's solid. I thought, oh, that's good. It's not a detailed review, but I'll take it. That's very cool. Ms. says, can I see your fingers? What does that mean? My bass playing fingers? All my fingers? Where are we? Yeah, these are my fingers. Peanut butter and jealous. Brianna says Red Rocks is for sure a life-changing experience. I bet. Linda says, are you ever going to tour Australia? I keep hearing that's the plan, you know? Actually, every band I've ever been in, it's always been like, okay, so we're hoping literally every band I've ever been in, it's, okay, we're going to do this US tour, and then we're really hoping to hit Asia and Australia, and I've heard it with every band. So I've even heard that recently from in this camp ever since I joined the band, like, okay, we're hoping to do this, and we're hoping to get over to hopefully we can do Japan, hopefully we can do Australia. Some things pan out, some don't, but man, I'm hoping. So just know that the plan is always like, how can we get there? So I'm sure these promoters and booking agents are always trying to work on it, you know? Ms. asks, got a tip for playing guitar? The tip is just play it because you love it. Just practice and have fun. Learn your favorite songs. You guys want to see something funny? I just noticed this on the side. Actually, you know, you see I have all my crazy basses back here, right? Here's the funniest bass you'll ever see. It's a 2-string bass, right? 2-string bass, right? You ready for this? It's a hockey stick. Where's the camera? Where's the camera? There we go. 2-string bass. Hockey stick, 2-string bass. Funny, right? And the surprising thing is, it actually sounds really good. A few years ago, when I first got that bass, maybe it's probably like 5 years ago, I put up a video of me playing a Rush song. It's kind of like the bass solo section of the song Subdivisions by Rush, and I put up a video of me playing it on that bass, which is rather hard with only 2 strings, because like you got to relearn the song and slide your hand up and down to find the notes. But yeah, I posted a video of me playing a little piece of a Rush song, and Geddy Lee actually wrote to me and said, that's amazing. Geddy Lee said, surely that bass will get you any gig north of the 49th. And I guess the 49th parallel is everything. I guess it's a term. Everything above the 49th or 48th, one of those is Canada. Everything above the 49th is Canada. So he made a joke that base will get me any gig north of the 49th. So pretty funny. Susan Roberts says she went to school with Getty. That is wild. Yeah, the hockey stick base is custom made. It was a guy who made 2-string basses, and I was like, I want one. And I saw one that, like, at the end of it had a little curve to it or something, and I said to him, when you make mine, can you just add a little tilted end to it and just make it a hockey stick? And he did. he put the hockey stick tape on it and everything. Is amazing. What blows my mind is that it actually sounds good. And the funny part is the pickup. Usually the pickup is turned sideways to cover all 4 strings, but they just turned it sideways and just made it. How cool is that? Too funny. I love it. Anyway, I had to share that with you. So yeah, it's a hockey stick guitar. I'm gonna look for a couple more questions here before we wrap this one up. Christopher Gonzalez says, do you have a custom or signature bass? I don't have an actual signature bass, so to speak. But the mirrored bass I played with the broken mirrors on it, that bass was actually like an arts and crafts project for me. I made that. I broke all the mirror and I put it on there in a hotel room over 2 days. And so on tour, on days off, I actually make these mirrored basses and I sell them on the website of my website. So martyobrien.com. And so it's just been fun for me because it's like an art project, and it's almost not even bass players that buy them. It's like either fans of the band or it's like considered art. You hang it up on the wall and it's the broken mirrored bass. So if you go to martyobrien.com, click on shop, and you can see there's a blue one and a purple one in there. The blue one that's in there, I used actually the blue one that's on the website is the only one I'm selling that's ever been used on stage by me. And when we played the Summer of '99 festival with Nickelback and Creed and all those bands, just recently I used that on stage as a video on my social media, me playing the blue one. So the blue one that's on the website is the one from the video of me playing it on Instagram. Yeah. So I don't have a signature bass, so to speak, but people consider that the mirror bass being my thing, kind of. So yeah. I'm scrolling here, figuring out the last few questions. Hockey stick. Everybody likes the hockey stick bass, right? Oh boy. Ian says, my guitar is in drop D. What tuning do you guys play in mostly? The majority of all the older Daughtry songs were recorded in half step down. So all those songs were all the guitars were tuned to half step down. So and then all the newer songs, not all the newer songs, but like songs like Artificial and Pieces, I believe those are written on a drop guitar, meaning it's like C. I think it's drop C sharp, I believe. I'm pretty sure. So, but because I play a 5-string bass, I'm not using a drop tuning, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So my 5-string bass is just a half step down, but the guitars were written with a C sharp dropped guitar. If that makes sense. I don't know. Hope we're not confusing you. Gennaro says, that caught me by surprise that it was a hockey stick. I'm glad it's pretty funny. Katie asks, what is the mirrored bass made of, and does it make it more difficult to play. Everybody says that. They're like, "Oh my god, do you cut yourself on that? It looks sharp." But the mirror is actually. Do I have mirror around here? Where is it? Hold on. I'm going to show you. The mirrored base is made up of acrylic mirror. So it's not actually glass, but it sure does look like real glass. So here's a piece of acrylic that I use on the base. So I cut these, I cut the mirror, and then I will actually break pieces, and I put it all together like a puzzle on the base, and it's all very thought out. It looks like it's just shattered and shit just flew everywhere, but it's meticulously like, okay, this point goes up this way, and everybody's like, it must hurt, it must hurt your fingers, must cut you, and like, no, it looks like glass, it's acrylic, which is basically like a pickguard material, and it's not actually sharp. It's not hard to play, but a super cool effect. Yeah. Acrylic mirror. Robert says, I own mirror base number 3. That's right, Robert. I saw it in person in the Daughtry Museum. For those who are unaware that are in the chat, Robert here, Robert Waylock, has a Daughtry museum. I swear to you. And I've been to it. Robert lives in Illinois, and he's been a fan of the band way before I was even in the band, and he's been collecting everything. He had so many things I couldn't believe, like Daughtry played on like the Tonight Show or Jimmy Kimmel or something like that, and he has the actual dressing room signs, things, all sorts of stuff. Anyway, he has some of the guitars, and Robert has one of my mirrored basses. He says it's number 3 because I actually, every time I finish one, not every time, like I'm doing 100 a day, but whenever I finish one, I sign the back of the headstock and put like a number. So his was number 3. Thank you, Robert. It was so cool to see that thing in the Daughtry Museum. Susan says, tough crowd, no goodbye. I'm not sure what that meant because I'm still here. Jillian asks, are any special snacks or food or drinks that you always take with you on tour? But no, but when you're on tour, there is a thing called a rider. You know, it's a tour rider, and that's basically your list of the different snacks for the bus and the dressing rooms. And so at the start of any tour, you usually are asked by the tour manager, hey, what do you want on the bus? What do you want? You know, add anything. I never usually add anything. The bus is already stocked with stuff, and I don't need to be eating a bunch of junk anyway. So, let's see. I'm looking for the last couple questions. Let's see. Somebody said Robert owns everything. He does. Ian says, I even follow you on Spotify. I don't even know that was a thing, but I don't really, I mean, I listen to Spotify, but I don't really use the social aspect of it. I'm mostly on Facebook and Instagram. If any of you have not found your way over there, it's at Marty O'Brien. So go follow me. So then when I see it, I'll be like, you were in the chat. I know it. I recognize you. Rhonda says, where in Illinois is this museum? It's, I don't know how you pronounce it. Moments, right? Momence, Illinois, right? It's not a public museum. It's by invite only. Robert has set this up as a prestigious place. Tommy says, sorry for being repetitive. MSG in New York, possibly. That's another one. I've never played Madison Square Garden, but I would love to. Come on, we got to add that. Sherry says, always great pictures from Marty on those sites. Yeah, I try to Thanks. I appreciate that. I always try to capture the day with some fun, cool photos of the travels. And by the way, on if you guys haven't seen it, but on the whenever we're on tour on my Instagram, every venue we get into, I do like a walk into the venue and I'll film the stage and like walking through the seats and showing the stage and I love filming like the stage being built and set up and all that stuff, so love it. Um all right, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Ms. asked whatever social also. Facebook and Instagram. I'm on both of those as it's at Marty O'Brien. I'm not on LinkedIn. I'm not looking for a desk job, but kudos to those who are on LinkedIn. Not that desk jobs are bad. I actually have a desk job aside from this too. Hiram asks, are you still giving fans the Polaroids? I think so. For those who are wondering what that means, Dom, our tour photographer, I think it's an amazing idea. She keeps some of those vintage like Polaroid cameras, and every few shows she'll have us take pictures, or she'll take live pictures of us with a real Polaroid, and then she'll lay them out in the dressing room, and we're supposed to like sign anyone that we're in the photo of. So like I'll see a few with me and it'll sign them. And I forget how they do them, but like sometimes they just hand them to fans, and like fans in the front row that are going crazy. They'll just hand them an envelope and they don't know what it is. And they kind of film the reaction and they're like, oh my God. And it's like a handwritten note from Chris with like a Polaroid. And then I think they were sliding the Polaroids into the vinyl. I don't know where those went, but maybe if you bought the vinyl at the merch booth, you get the picture, which is cool to me because it's a one of a kind. Like if it's a picture of me or Chris or anybody backstage, that Polaroid is one of a kind. I think they were sticking them into the vinyls. But anyway, that's pretty cool. Deb said she got one. That's amazing. All right, everybody. Monica says she got the Vegas Polaroid. That's amazing. Thanks to everybody that joined. These are super fun. We had almost 100 people in here. That was pretty awesome. I hope the YouTube platform worked well for everybody. I'm not sure why they switched from the app, but it must be because this is a better way of doing it. I know that I for sure like it better on here. I like that you guys are able to chat before the live stream even starts. I get in here and I see you're already. Karen says she loves this platform. I like it too. See you in Puerto Rico. See you guys on tour. For the tour dates, obviously go visit daughtryofficial.com because we are leaving on Monday for Europe. We start in Hamburg, Germany. And Hamburg, Oslo, Stockholm, we're going everywhere. Croatia, Luxembourg, we're going to Paris, France. Deb says, see you in April on the cruise. Yes, we're doing the Creed cruise again in April. Very excited. Oh yeah, everybody says they love the YouTube app for this. I hope that's the general consensus. I do like this. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. This was super fun. Good questions as always. And Ms. says no Belgium. No, we are playing Belgium. We are playing Belgium. Hold on. Am I crazy? Ms., we're playing Belgium. Hold on. Let me go visit it. I got the tour dates here. Hold on. I keep seeing no Belgium. Hold on. I swore there was a Belgium. Isn't there a Brussels, maybe? Come on, where is it? Yes. February 23rd, Belgium. February 23rd, we will be in Belgium, so you can no longer officially say no Belgium. Done. Brussels, yes. Brussels, February 23rd, Seven Dust, Daughtry, Alter Bridge. Right there. If you go to my social media, I posted the poster recently, so go check it out. See you guys on the socials, and have fun. Have a good night. See you on tour. Bye.